Hey friends, good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Today's the day. So there are buds on these two apple trees, no scale. So I'm like, I don't know. Should I leave these here? I mean, there's no scale. And usually at this time, they're covered. So I think I'm just going to put my orange tree in a different location, give these guys one more chance. If there's no scale, then I'm hoping that they will flower and fruit for me this year. If not, then next winter I will dig them up and move them. But I didn't expect them to look good like this. So what I am going to do before we plant the orange tree is treat every fruit tree in the garden with horticultural oil. Okay, so this is the kind I use. You can get it at lots of different brands. Make one. All it is mineral oil. Well, it also has some other things in here, but a lot of water. Anyway, you shake it up, you spray it down, and what it does is the oil suffocates all the eggs and larvae of any pest that happens to be living on your trees. But this is to be used, well, you can use it during the growing season, but if you do that, then if you get it on the fruit, probably not a good idea to eat it. So most of us like to do it in the dormant season. Just spray the whole thing so that it's dripping wet, and before they break bud, and then you should be good. And because we have no rain coming anytime soon, this will soak in and it'll do its job. The one thing not to forget is to spray around the base of your trees, because lots of these insects shelter in the soil at the base of these trees. So you're gonna make sure you get that saturated as well. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll plant the orange tree. Gotta make sure you get the backside too. Okay, I need to go wash my hands, then we'll get this orange tree planted. Okay, so the orange tree is planted. Now I need to tackle this gumweed. It's been driving me crazy. It's got a whole bunch of new growth on it, but it grew to this size in a single season, so I know it will come back. I'm gonna take this thing down almost to the ground, and then we'll clean out the rest of this bed so we can see what we've got going on. And then over here I have a pile of compost that I'm just gonna rake across the bed to kind of get things looking nice and tidy. We can plant when we need to in the spring, but I can't keep looking at this. So I'm gonna cut it all down, stick it in the compost, and get this bed up to snuff. Okay, so I know it doesn't look like much, but to me, that's a massive improvement. So what do we have in this bed? Well, we've got some lavender. We've got more gumweed. That gumweed was not planted from a seedling. It was planted from seeds, like wildflower seeds. So that's just amazing to me. We have milkweed. That's all been cut back. We've got some salvia, and we have a grama grass that I cut back. And then over here, we've got daffodils that I used to have this whole bed used to be daffodils. I dug up everything, but apparently I missed a few, so they're coming up. And then we have some yarrow over there as well. So all of this will slowly start to wake up and fill back in. And even though I have covered the crown of these plants, I think it's going to be okay. I've done that in the past, and it's been all right with fresh new growth. It's really hard to get down to the crown of these plants because they're kind of subsoil at this point. So we'll just see what happens. But I might add a few things this year, but I want to wait till everything fills in first, and then we'll see. So I did cut the lavender back a bit. We have lots of lavender on the property, and I think I'm going to do some major hard pruning on a lot of it, just to kind of reset the plants. And then I may have to replace a few because they just get leggy and very woody over time if you don't prune them correctly. And I definitely missed a year or two of pruning a lot of these. So these guys are going to be okay. Because they have foliage that goes all the way down to the base, which is really nice. So I don't have to cut into wood. They'll just keep flushing back and they'll look lovely. But I definitely need to keep an eye on this gumweed and not let it get too big and suffocate these guys. So there's a gumweed there. There's a gumweed here. I probably will dig this guy up and put it somewhere else because it's such a huge plant. It doesn't need to be here on the edge of the patio. Maybe I'll put it in the back of the bed. So, all right, it's 2:00 and I'm starving. So I'm going to go have some lunch. And then I think we might do one more bed cleanup today since I'm already out here and I've got all the stuff. So let me show you that really quick. Okay, this bed, whew, I stood up way too fast. This bed is a drought tolerant bed. It gets zero irrigation during the year. And as you can see, it's lots of very large lavender. We've got penstemon in the back here, two different varieties. We have a hot lip salvia. This is a euphorbia. It's really pretty. It's getting ready to bloom. And then I don't remember what this ground cover is down here. Then we also have a red bud in the middle. So I'm going to come in, and then the stuff in the back is this horrible Nandina. I hate it so much. I consider it invasive. It's just awful stuff. That's on the other side of a small wood wall. So that I will take care of at a different time with hedge trimmers. I'm going to take that down to the ground. The funny thing about Nandina is it's often used in the floral industry as a greenery, but I hate it. The stems are short and woody, and it might work a little bit for vase stuff, and I've occasionally had to scrounge and use it, but I can't stand it. So anyway, all this lavender I'm going to cut way back. This is all the new growth from 2025. I'm going to take it way down, and we'll see. Maybe I can get another really good flush. But I also want to do that because the Nandina is creeping into this bed, and I can try to pull up pieces. But so I also want to rake out all of these leaves because even though leaves can be really great mulch, they also can form an impenetrable mat that nothing can get through. And these particular leaves are from our poplar trees, and they are very big leaves, and so they just kind of overlap, and they just make a mat of nothing can get through, water, etc. So I do want to clear that out. We can compost those or make leaf mold out of them, but it's not good to leave them sitting on the plants. So I'm going to go eat, and then we will tackle this bed, and then I think we'll probably be done for the day. Okay, that bed is done. I think it looks a lot better. Now, the lavender got cut back really hard. Hopefully I didn't cut into wood too much. And of course I didn't touch any of the euphorbia or the salvia. The euphorbias have a sap that they exude, and it's like a latex. It's kind of the same thing as daffodils. And that sap, if it gets on your hands, it can cause contact dermatitis and all that kind of stuff. Thankfully, I don't really have that reaction to it. But this patch would be a wonderful patch to use for arrangements, but they're kind of a pain because the euphorbias don't just exude the sap from the stem where you cut it, but from any leaves that you strip as well. So you have to harvest them well in advance, and then dip the whole thing into boiling water and then let it sit for a while to seal over those holes from the leaves and the stem, and then you can't cut it again, or you have to do that process again. So I tend to not use them, even though euphorbia flowers are really cool, but they're a big production, so I tend not to do them. Okay, guys, I'm pretty wiped. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for hanging out. Also, I want to thank everybody who made such lovely comments on the video yesterday. My heart is heavy, and gardening is definitely a way to help alleviate some stress and to help myself feel closer to nature and maybe not so sad, but it's still there. So my love goes out to all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden or dreaming of your garden, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.